Coughlin, please answer the question.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
You agreed to follow the conditions set forth in Part A and Part B of this exhibit, correct?
Exhibit 72?
Yes.
Well, it's signed, right? And we established that it was my signature earlier, right?
That's not the question, Mr. Coughlin.
Coughlin, will you please answer the question?
Sure. I signed it, so... What was your question?
For the fourth time, you agreed to follow the conditions set forth in Part A and Part B of this exhibit, correct?
I signed it, yes.
You were terminated from LAP on April 7, 2006, correct?
April 7th, you say?
Yes.
I don't know.
Let's turn to Exhibit 6, Mr. Coughlin. Exhibit 6 is a letter dated April 7, 2006 to Zachary B. Coughlin from Janice R. Thibault.
Yes.
And it states, in anticipation of the report to the Committee of Bar Examiners, CBX, on February 16, 2006, the LAP Evaluation Committee met to review your participation. At that time, your participation did not warrant a favorable report to CBX.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Could you ask the witness to not talk into the
Sorry.
lines of the
What page are
microphone?
you on?
It's Exhibit 6. It's a one-page exhibit. I'll
Okay.
continue. You were given a period
Please
of time
do.
to explore arrangements that might allow you a more favorable outcome. To date, we have not received any information from you, but must report to CBX. The LAP Evaluation Committee has determined that you have not successfully complied with their recommendations and appear not to have gained insight regarding your alcohol abuse. In addition, your participation in the LAP has been terminated. Correct? That's what the letter says?
No. The letter has a lot more in it than that.
We hope that you will choose to pursue recovery, and we extend the invitation to contact the LAP for assistance in the future if you so choose. If you choose. That's what the letter says, Mr. Coughlin?
In its entirety? No.
Mr. Coughlin, on November 21st, 2006, you were sent a letter from the State Bar requesting that you provide an authorization for disclosure, or a renewed authorization for disclosure and release of information form to the State Bar, correct?
Is that the one where you were making a lot of threats about it? And
Mr. Coughlin, that wasn't the question. If you turn to Exhibit 9. Exhibit 9 is a letter dated November 21st, 2006 to Zachary B. Coughlin from Susan I. Kagan. As you know, the State Bar has requested you to provide a renewed LAP authorization form and fingerprint records report in connection with the above referenced matter. Per your voicemail message on October 31st, 2006, I understand that you're refusing to
hearsay, voicemail has not been authenticated or submitted into evidence.
Overruled.
I understand that you're refusing to provide these items, absent further explanation. To this end, I've attempted to contact you on several occasions to discuss the matter to no avail. If the requested items are not received by this office by close of business on December 1st,
Right,
2006...
so I gave you another one, right, Susan?
But you didn't give me another one until April 20th, 2007, correct?
Well, you didn't give me a lot of the damn exhibits until the third day of trial, so what's
Just
your
answer the
point,
question.
Susan?
You didn't give me an authorization until April 20th, 2007, correct?
I'm not sure of the date.
2 weeks prior to trial?
I'm not sure of the date.
Even though on January 3rd, 2007, another letter was sent to you requesting a renewed authorization?
I can't confirm that.
That's Exhibit 10, Mr. Coughlin. Exhibit 10, dated January 3rd, 2007, to Mr. Coughlin, encloses a new LAP authorization form. Please sign and date the form and return it to me by close of business on January 16th, 2007. Please contact me if you have any
What's
questions.
your question?
You received this letter, Mr. Coughlin?
I'm not sure. Did you send it by certified mail or get a signature?
It's not your turn to ask questions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Coughlin, at your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, you refused to provide an authorization form to the State Bar, correct?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
You were asked to provide an authorization form at your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, correct?
An authorization form for what?
For LAP.
To do what?
An authorization for disclosure and release of information form.
I think you might have mentioned that.
In fact, at your deposition, you refused to answer any questions regarding your participation in LAP and refused to provide a renewed authorization form.
Is that right? I believe that happened, yeah. I believe we talked about how the fact that your authorization form had lapsed and that it was inconvenient for you to get another one, but that which deposition was this?
The first one,
Where was that?
Reno.
Reno where?
What's the next question?
Let's see.
Mr. Coughlin, you were deposed on March 2nd, 2007, correct?
By whom?
Mr. Coughlin, I'm warning you, you're not to be asking questions. You are
Okay.
right now being subjected to answering questions.
And your question,
You were deposed on March 2nd, 2007 in relation to this matter?
I'm not sure.
At that time that you were deposed, let's turn to Exhibit 57, Your Honor. Mr. Coughlin. Exhibit 57 is a condensed transcript of the deposition of Zachary B. Coughlin, March 2nd, 2007, Reno, Nevada.
Does this refresh your memory?
I don't know where Nevada. I don't know what that is.
Okay, what's the next question?
What is Nevada?
Your Honor, I request to have the entire Exhibit 57 moved into evidence.
I object.
Okay, I'm not going to move the entire deposition into evidence at this point. I think what you need to do is read into evidence the relevant parts.
Mr. Coughlin, at your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, you refused to answer questions regarding your October 2001 arrest, correct?
I'm not sure. Object relevancy. The fact that no other applicants have to answer, they answer about convictions, so why are we spending all this time on an arrest that didn't lead to any conviction?
Overruled.
Is that equal protection of the laws? Is that what that is?
At this point, the issue is good moral character.
Right. But without equal protection, right?
Page 10 of the deposition, Mr. Coughlin, starting with line 25. Question, what I'd like to do is turn back to the last, going on to page 11, line 1, page of Exhibit 1, and in second paragraph of that page, about 5 lines from the bottom, this is actually discussing an arrest that took police, it's supposed to be placed, in October of 2001 outside of a movie theater in Nevada. And the sentence goes on to say, I was charged with 3 misdemeanors, resisting arrest, evading a police officer, and obstructing a police officer. Can you go into a little detail about the actual arrest? Answer, no. Question, no, you can't go into detail, or do you remember the arrest? Answer, well, I'm going to object to that. Question, what's your basis? Answer, well, given the language in the other sections of this application which deal with convictions, as I read in this section, I believe it's 12.1. This is an incident for which I would be under a duty to disclose. Question, well, as part of discovery, I'm entitled to take your...
That should have read, this is an incident for which I would not be under a duty to disclose.
Question,
It's what it says.
well, as part of discovery, I'm entitled to take your deposition, and so I'm going to, unless there's a privilege. You have to answer the question. Answer, Question, unless you refuse to answer the question, and then we could take we can have the question certified and take it to the court and see whether or not you're going to be ordered to answer the question. This is starting on page
Objection,
12.
Your Honor. Relevance. Are we going to have Ms. Kagan read to us all afternoon?
Since you don't recall your testimony, she can use the deposition transcript.
Okay.
If you recalled your testimony, we wouldn't have to read the deposition
Okay.
transcript. Since you can't recall anything that you've ever done, this is why it's taken so long. Let's go ahead.
Answer, okay. Question, is that what you want to do? Answer, yes. Question, so let's certify the question. Just to set the record straight, is it true that you are now refusing to answer any questions regarding your arrest in October of 2001?
Your question is, did I refuse to answer questions about the arrest?
Answer, that's true.
Yeah.
The next question.
Mr.
Well,
Coughlin?
actually, I didn't refuse. I objected based on the fact that your own application says that those arrests that don't lead to conviction are not
Mr. Coughlin, isn't it true that you
necessary.
refused?
I'm not finished with my answer, Ms. Kagan. Are not necessary to be reported.
Mr. Coughlin, at your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, you refused to discuss your law school academic dishonesty investigation. Isn't that true?
Well, that's a similar instance where I asserted that your own application, what I understand equal protection of the law to mean is that that has to be applied to everybody the same way.
Mr. Coughlin,
And I'm not finished with my answer, Ms. Kagan.
Give your explanation. You admit that you refused. So.
No, I'm saying I asserted that it was an improper question given that the academic dishonesty investigation did not lead to any, according to the language of your own California moral character application, didn't lead to any censure, yada, 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 yada.
Mr. Coughlin, the question was you refused to testify about the academic dishonesty investigation, correct?
I asserted a privilege.
And at your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, you refused to answer any questions regarding your alcohol use or the LAP program, correct?
No, that's not correct. In my opinion, it's not correct. We talked a great deal about alcohol during that.
Page 29.
You asked me question after question
Yeah,
about
you answer the
AA.
question, please. Page 29.
Starting with line 7. Question, do you believe that you were an alcoholic at that time? Answer, could you define what an alcoholic is? Question, do you not understand what an alcoholic is? Answer, I don't understand what you understand an alcoholic is. Question, what do you understand an alcoholic to be? Answer, I'm not sure. Question, isn't it true that you actually attend Alcoholics Anonymous? Answer, I'm going to object to that. Question, what's the basis for your objection? Answer, privacy grounds and the fact that the second word in that is anonymous. You refuse to answer questions, Mr. Coughlin, regarding that?
Are you asking me, am I refusing to answer questions when I was in this deposition or right now regarding that?
At the deposition.
No, I don't believe so. I believe we talked about alcohol for a long, long time. You asked me this and that and the other, and we talked about, me going to AA meetings since I was like 3 years old and all sorts of stuff like that. So.
Page 31, line 12. Question, how long have you been attending AA? Answer, I object to that on privacy grounds, but I'll go ahead and answer it, preserving the objection. I was taken to AA meetings as a child, so question, why was that? Answer, I don't know. Question, you're handing me back the exhibit. You don't know why you were taken to AA meetings as a child? Answer, no. Question, why did you include that information in your update for moral character application to me?
Sorry, what page are you on?
31.
Okay.
Answer, I'm not sure. Question, are you currently attending AA meetings? Answer, I object to that on privacy grounds, but question, starting at page 32, did you attend all the meetings that are documented in the pages that you sent me? Answer, yes, I believe so. Question, are you currently sober? Answer, yes. Question, how long have you been sober? Answer, I object to that on privacy grounds.
Right.
Skipping down to line 22.
Do you have a question, or are you just illustrating your disgust for the Fourth Amendment and any privacy rights individuals in this country might have that might conflict with your making money as a prosecutor?
Skipping down to line 22 of the same
No?
page,
No
32.
question, just going to read to us? Okay.
When is the last time you had an alcoholic beverage? Answer, I'm not sure, and I'll object to that on privacy grounds as well. Question, starting on page 33. If you don't want the State Bar to know about your attendance at Alcoholics Anonymous or anything about your relationship with alcohol, why did you include this information in your application update? Answer, I'm going to object to that to your question and the way it's phrased. I believe it's leading, and you're saying if I don't want the State Bar, and that's not something I said. That's something you just said. Question. Excuse me, strike that. I'll rephrase the question.
Is there a question in this, or are you just reading to us?
Reading the deposition transcript into the record.
Is she going to read the whole thing into the record, or?
Whenever you deny that you said it, she can impeach you with the deposition transcript.
I'm not
Whenever you-
denying that this is a record of the
Or
deposition.
if you cannot recall.
What have I not recalled about this question?
Please proceed with reading what...
If you can tell me, do you have a question?
Question. On page 33, starting with line 10, is it true that you're refusing to testify about your relationship with alcohol and your relationship with Alcoholics Anonymous? Answer, no. Question, so when did you first start going to Alcoholics Anonymous? Answer, I'm not sure. Can you define going? Question, when did you first start
Can I use the
attending
restroom,
meetings
Your Honor?
at Alcoholics Anonymous? Answer.
I really need to use the restroom.
We'll wait until 11:15. Go ahead.
Answer, I can remember being in a meeting when I was 3 years old, so. Question, what about in the last 5 years? Have you been attending Alcoholics Anonymous meetings for the last 5 years? Answer, I'm not sure. Can you define attending for 5 years? Does that mean once in 5 years or 100 times in 5 years? Continue on page 34.
Okay.
Question, at any at all, did you ever go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings in the last 5 years? Answer, I'll object to that on privacy grounds. But go ahead and answer it. Yes, I have. Okay, skipping down to line 20. Is one of the reasons also that you have a problem with alcohol? Answer, I'll object to that. Question, what's your objection? Answer, objection would be privacy, and it would be objecting under ADA. It would be vagueness of the question. I don't understand what you mean by a problem with alcohol.
Okay, I think that's enough in terms of this field of questioning.
At your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, Mr. Coughlin, you couldn't
I'm having
answer.
difficulty concentrating because I need to use the restroom.
I'll give you 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Back on the record.
At your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, Mr. Coughlin, isn't it true that you couldn't tell me whether or not you recognized or had the email address of zanvabar2@hotmail.com?
I'm not going to answer that.
You couldn't tell me whether or not you drafted emails to Unishippers, which is contained...
And I'm not going to answer that either. Am I allowed to do that?
You can do whatever you want to do.
Because earlier I couldn't just not answer things. You made an order that I had to answer.
The record speaks for itself. Let's go on to the next question.
Because earlier you said, no, you have to answer those. You can't just say, no, I'm not going to answer and have it reflect on your candor. You said your order was that you have to answer that.
This is moral character hearing, and the issue is your candor. I'm letting the record speak for itself. What's the next question?
But earlier you weren't.
Mr. Coughlin,
Right.
your deposition was taken again on April 26, 2007, correct?
Is that when I drove down from Nevada to California? Is that how you said?
Mr. Coughlin, please turn to Exhibit 70.
Exhibit 70?
Exhibit 70 is a condensed depot transcript.
Is this the one in California?
Deposition of Zachary B. Coughlin, Volume 2, Thursday, April 26, 2007, correct?
What's your question?
You attended a deposition and testified at a deposition on April 26, 2007?
In California, yes.
At that time, well, you came to the deposition pursuant to a court order compelling your attendance at a deposition,
I
correct?
remember that because I didn't have a right just to say I'm not going to answer that. I had to answer, you know. So.
And you were ordered to answer questions regarding your
I was
relationship with
ordered to
alcohol,
answer questions.
correct?
I wasn't allowed to say no, I'm not going to answer that. I remember that.
Okay. Yet, at the deposition, you couldn't answer the following questions. When you had your last drink, correct?
If that's what it says in there, then that's probably what was said and what the court reporter transcribed.
When your date of sobriety was? You couldn't answer that question, correct?
I'm not sure. Is that what I said, or did I? Did you go through with the highlighter on this?
Now, I'm going to exercise my right to control the courtroom. And at this point, Mr. Coughlin has said that he's not sure of the date of his last sobriety. He's said it 4 or 5 times. I don't think we need to go into this area anymore. So I'm going to ask that we move on to another area. He's not sure whether he had alcohol in the last 4 years. He's not sure whether he had it in 2005 to 2006. He doesn't know his sobriety date. The court knows it. So let's go on to another line of questioning.
Your Honor, if I may, this goes to Mr. Coughlin's cooperation in this matter, not
I
necessarily
believe
what
the
his
judge
answers
has
were.
ruled.
The record has spoken in terms of his cooperation.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Coughlin, are you employed currently?
I'm going to object to that. That's not something I feel is your business, Susan.
And it's overruled.
Okay. So does that mean I have to answer it?
Yes, you do have to
But
answer.
earlier I could say, no, I'm not going to answer that.
Mr. Coughlin, the objection, I've overruled your objection.
That's something I keep private.
Have you had any employment between February 15, 2007 and today?
That's something I keep private.
Did you have any employment in 2006?
That would be something I keep private.
Yet you testified about it at your deposition on March 2nd, 2007, didn't you?
Did I?
You testified that you worked at a place called West Corporation for about 4 to 5 weeks as a telephone support for Singular, and that you were terminated because you missed 2 days of work in the first 90 days of employment. Is that correct?
If that's what it says in the deposition, then I wouldn't dispute that.
And also in 2006, you worked at Albertsons for approximately 2 months as a cashier. You were terminated from that position because you were told that you didn't feel, the company didn't feel you were cut out for this type of work.
Objection,
correct?
relevancy. Are we going to go through when I worked for a coffee cart when I was in 7th grade?
Objection is overruled.
Okay.
You testified about that at your deposition, Mr. Coughlin?
Will you tell me?
Would you like me to read it onto the record,
Sure.
Mr. Coughlin?
Maybe if you could give us an idea of where you're going with this, it would kind of, you know.
What page is
Exhibit 57, page 73.
7?
Actually, it starts with, page 73, line 1. Answer, I was a cashier. Question, where? Answer, Albertsons. Question, and where was that? Answer, Reno, Nevada.
Where's
Question,
that?
where in Reno? Answer, West 7th Street. Question, how long were you employed there? Answer, I would say roughly 2 months. Question, how many? Answer, roughly 2 months. Question, did you have any other employment at that time? Answer, I'm not sure. It's possible I did a research assignment for Tom Hall. Question, why did you leave your employment at Albertsons? Answer, I don't know that I could characterize it with sufficient particularity and accurately, but I do recall that the manager mentioned to me that he didn't feel I was cut out for this type of work.
That's important. How?
In 2005, Mr. Coughlin, you testified at your deposition that you were employed at Men's Warehouse for a week, and your duties were selling suits, correct?
A vague recollection.
During that same year, you were employed at Macy's for approximately 4 months, where you sold suits.
Objection,
and you were let go
relevancy.
because you might have been told not a good fit.
Objection, relevancy. Are we going to talk about me working at a yogurt stand when I was in 3rd grade, too?
It's been overruled.
All right, how far back are we going to go is what I want to know.
As far back as the prosecutor wants to go.
So we can go back to when I was making garments for Martha Stewart in Ecuador when I was in 2nd grade. We can go back to that if that was a job I had.
Okay, what's the next question?
Mr. Coughlin, during that same year, you were employed at the law firm of Hale Lane for approximately 5 months, correct?
Yes, at Hale Lane.
And you were let go from that position because, as you testified, it was not. You were told it was not a good fit, correct?
I'm going to object to this because I signed a severance agreement with them, which I think might bind me from speaking on this.
That you testified about it at your deposition, didn't you?
I think I mentioned that very same confidential severance agreement at my deposition.
The objection is overruled.
Which I'll point out, Hale Lane didn't seem to follow, but I'm a man of the law, so go ahead and try to follow that agreement.
Exhibit 57, page 78.
I think you have that agreement, so if you can read it and tell me where it says I can comment on this, then fine, but...
Okay, so it's page 78.
Line 5. Question, why did you leave that employment? Answer, I was told. I'm not sure. Question, did you voluntarily leave that employment? Answer, I'm not sure. Question, were you fired? Answer, I'm not sure. Question, what was the reason that you were provided? Answer, I remember something about not...
Objection, relevancy. Where are we going with this? What's the point of admitting this? Can I just aimlessly bring up things, too, for hours on end?
Next question.
If you had something worthwhile, I don't think you'd need to, dig into 100 different little things and try to make something of it,
Mr. Coughlin, when you were questioned at your deposition regarding the emails that you sent to Professor Trados, the content of those emails, you testified that the only thing that you would change today would be that the emails would be shorter, correct?
I don't remember exactly what I said, but that I rings somewhat of a bell. I wouldn't say it's a completely inclusive characterization of what my testimony was, though.
Exhibit 57. Starting with page 60, line 21, question, what is your opinion of the content of your emails to Professor Trados? Answer, can you be more specific? Question, do you believe I would like you to describe what you would characterize your emails to Professor Trados to be? Answer, I don't know, a learning experience? Question, I'm specifically asking about the content of your emails. Would you characterize them as professional? Answer, I'm not sure. I don't know quite what you mean by professional. Question, reading through
Objection,
these
relevance.
Overruled.
Question, reading through these emails now, what is your opinion of your emails to Professor Trados? Answer, something I learned from. Question, and describe that. What do you mean you learned from? Answer, just I think I learned that if you're accused of doing something, that you need to have respect for the process regarding of whether you think that you should be accused, and that I need to choose my words a lot more carefully. When I was 24 when this was going on. Question, would you handle this differently today? Answer, yes, I believe I would. Question, how so? Answer, they'd be a lot shorter. Question, the emails? Answer, yeah. Oh,
Your
it goes
question
on.
earlier was whether that was all I had to say about that?
My question was, I believe, when asked about what you would change about the content of the emails, you say that they would be a lot shorter.
And you said that as if that's all I said, right?
What's the next question?
It's kind of leaving out a few things. And that's why I say a rogue prosecutor like the Duke Lacrosse case, because it's just, there's a reckless
Next question.
disregard for my rights and for,
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Naifong was the guy's name. They're just barring him now.
Coughlin, I would ask that you not speak until you're spoken to.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I don't think I have any questions at this point.
Mr. Coughlin, you may step down. So, in terms of witnesses, do you have any more witnesses?
I have 2 witnesses from the State Bar just to authenticate documents, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'd like to call Susan Kagan to the stand.
You're not going to be allowed to do that. So,
Who
who are the 2
It goes to
witnesses?
several pertinent matters in the case, Your Honor.
You're not allowed to call her, and you will not be able to call her, okay?
Even
So-
if it speaks on when I reported things and...
Yes. Okay, so who are the 2 witnesses?
Lynn Thingbold, she's a paralegal with our office, and Bill Stevens, he's an investigator at the office. And that's
And what would they testify to? What,
regarding
I'd like to call
Lynn
myself
Thingbold.
and speak in the narrative, too.
Lynn Thingbold would be testifying about the photos that are in Exhibit 73, and the entire Exhibit 73, inclusive of the photos, and her correspondence with the Nevada DMV. And Mr. Stevens would be testifying about the Exhibit 74, which is the patent bar information, and also the DMV records and his participation in that.
okay,
Simulating stuff,
can you
right.
call them now? Are you going to be calling them now, or what?
I can look and see if they're in the office. I told them, I didn't know how
What
long it was
time
going to run.
did you- okay.
I said around 2, if they could be available
Okay.
by then.
Okay, and then we have the psychiatrist that's coming on Thursday?
I'm hoping that he is coming. He said he was available that week. So
Because
He'll be
you
in
understand
person.
that he's not agreeing that he can testify over the phone. He wants him here in person.
No, from what I understand from Dr. Tucker's message to me, he was available all week. So I'm assuming that that means that he's available to come in person.
Okay. Well, he will have to come in person
Okay.
in order to have his testimony.
I'm just hoping that that date he is available to come in person. I don't know that for
Tax
sure.
dollars
Can you
to pay
find
him.
out when?
I'm hoping to find out today whether or not he can even testify today at 4.
Okay, we can go
But he would
off
need
the
to be in
record.
here, right? Not on the phone. We're not talking about on the
Right.
phone.
He's,
Oh, today
he's,
at 4?
he's no longer, and I can read what the
We're-
court has.
Okay, back on the record.
Okay. Back on the record in the matter of Zachary Coughlin, we are going over the records that have been admitted into evidence. The court has admitted why don't we 1 through 6 and it has been admitted. Page 12 of 7. Page 8.
Page 12 of Exhibit 7.
That's the only part of Exhibit 7 that's been admitted. Page 8 through 12 admitted.
Exhibit, Your Honor.
Pardon?
Exhibit 8 through 12?
Yeah.
Wait.
Excuse me. Exhibit 8 through 12, admitted.
Okay.
Sorry. Exhibit 15, pages 29 and 63. Have been admitted. Exhibit 17, admitted. Page 19, admitted. I'm sorry. Exhibit 19, admitted. Exhibit 20, admitted. Exhibit 21, admitted. Exhibit 24, 25, admitted. Exhibit 29, admitted. Exhibit 31, 32, admitted. Exhibit 37, and 38, 1 through 30 admitted.
I have that as Exhibit 39, Your Honor.
Okay, maybe that's it then.
Is that correct?
Okay, Exhibit 38 is admitted, and in terms of Exhibit 39, pages 1 through 30 are admitted. Yeah, okay. Pages 40, Exhibit 40 and 41 admitted. Exhibit 44 admitted. Exhibit 47 admitted. Exhibit 49 admitted. Exhibit 53 admitted.
I have Exhibit 50 admitted.
Okay, 50 is admitted.
Do you have-
I don't have that as admitted, but that's also
Oh, wait a
contained in
minute.
Exhibit 72, though.
I'm sorry, wait a minute here.
Okay, I didn't have it admitted.
Okay,
Okay, so that's not admitted.
50.
Is not admitted.
So 50 was not admitted?
No.
And that was the thing she was questioning me about 10
I
minutes
believe
ago.
it's part of Exhibit 72 that was admitted.
Okay. Okay.
Exhibit 53 admitted. Exhibit 54 admitted. Exhibit 55 admitted. '57, only the pages that have been referred to in testimony are admitted. Pages, 58 would be pages 5 and, that was admitted, the whole thing was admitted.
Okay, can we go back to Exhibit 57? Because
57.
That's, you said,
Only the pages that have been referred to in testimony.
do we know what those pages are, or?
We have pages 10, line 25,
Okay, well,
and page 11. Let's see, page 11. would be page 11, would be lines 1 through 22. Excuse me, 1 through 25. Okay. And page 12.
And this is on the deposition?
Yes.
And we're referring to it by the depositions pages, not the
Yes.
pages?
Page 12, lines 1 through 9. One through 9. 12. And then we have page 29, lines 7 through 24. Okay, page 31. Page 31. Page 31's line 10. Page 10 through, page 31, 10 through 25. And page 32 and page 34. Page 78, lines 5
exhibit
through
is this, Your Honor?
13.
Is this 50?
This is 57.
That's what I thought, okay.
Page 78, lines 5 through 13. Page 73, lines 14 through 23. And page 60, lines 21 through 25, and page 61, the entire page 61. And those are the ones I have. Let me just look at page 31. Okay. Those are admitted. Exhibit 58 in its entirety is admitted. 59 is admitted. 60 is judicially noticed. Line 61 is admitted. Page 61 is admitted. Why do you keep saying this? Page 61. Line 60. Wait. Exhibit 61, admitted. Exhibit 62 and 63 are judicially noticed. 65, 66, 67, and 68 are judicially noticed. '69 is admitted. '70, that's deposition, right?
Yes.
What pages? I don't have the pages that were admitted.
I don't believe I read any pages from that deposition onto the record.
Okay, so then it's not admitted. Page 70, Exhibit 71, what is that? That's not been admitted yet. And then 72 was admitted in its entirety, and that's all I have.
Your Honor, there was something regarding the deposition transcript. Just a second. From the March 2nd, 2007 deposition regarding, maybe I just read it into the record regarding the fact that Mr. Coughlin was living alone in the unlawful detainer.
Yeah, but I don't know what pages. Do you have the pages that were?
Yeah, if you just give me a minute, I can
Sure.
find it. Page 108.
108. What was that? Lines what?
Let me just see the exhibit. Just one moment, Your Honor.
Your Honor, are we breaking at noon?
Yeah, we should.
I believe it started at line...
Why don't you read it into the record just so I can line what?
16. And I don't remember where it stopped. I think it may have stopped at line 22.
Okay, page 108, lines 16 through 22 are admitted.
As well as on page 101.
What was that?
That was regarding his knowledge of the lawsuit, the unlawful detainers. It was,
Lines, what lines?
I believe it started at line 6 and went through line 13.
Okay, pages,
Page 101.
page 101, lines 6 through 13. Okay. So, that's far, that's all we have, right?
That's what I believe to be correct.
Okay, so why don't we go off the record? Okay, this is the matter of Zachary Coughlin, and we're back on the record. Before we took a recess, the State Bar indicated that they were going to have 2 witnesses testify in terms of authenticating some documents, and one is regarding the photographs. Before we put in testimony about the photographs, do you have the person who actually took the photographs? Because if you don't, then I think there's a problem of authentication, and there's no point in putting someone in who says, I got the photographs from the landlord.
Okay, we've tried to subpoena the person who took the photographs. However, they're in Nevada, and they, while they did promise to come, they never returned the subpoena and then stopped returning our calls.
Okay, so I don't think then you have the evidence in terms of authenticating the photographs.
Your Honor, can I move ahead?
I've made my ruling on that.
I'm not
Okay.
asking about that ruling, Your Honor.
Okay, and also,
But in regard to that, Your Honor, can any testimony related to those photographs be stricken?
and they will be stricken.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Now, in terms, any evidence relating to the photographs, and in terms of the Exhibit 74, the patent agent
Yes.
exhibit, here's the problem with that. Mr. Coughlin has always been listed as an agent, and now he became an attorney in Nevada, and the issue really is whether he had to do some process to notify the patent people that he's an attorney. If he has to do that, then it appears to me he's still an agent, so I don't see the significance of that whole agent testimony.
Well, he did put into his Exhibit 3, which is the update, that since he has been barred in Nevada, that makes him an attorney
Right.
with the patent bar. It's Exhibit 3. Page 4, Your Honor.
He says on page 4 that he's listed as an agent. Though upon becoming an attorney that I may now be classified as a patent attorney.
Right, since he's licensed as a patent agent since May of 2003.
Right, and he's still a patent agent.
Correct, but from that statement, it appears that he
Your Honor, I object. I
claims
don't
to be
know
a
that
patent
I'm-
attorney.
Please.
It appears that he's claiming to be a patent attorney, though upon
says
becoming an
he's-
attorney, that may now be classified as a patent attorney.
And I'm not sure I'm not a patent attorney.
Right, I just don't see the significance of this at all.
The fact that he,
This is what you led with.
the fact that he is only listed as an agent, and he has been listed as an agent since being licensed in 2003, but now
What
claims
I'm
to be
saying
an
is,
attorney?
Unless you can have someone come in and say that in order to become, that once he's an agent and once he becomes an attorney, he's automatically now a patent attorney, then I don't see the significance of it.
Well, Your Honor,
That's
I
all.
would say that that's his burden to prove that he's now a patent attorney, because he claims to be a patent attorney.
He says may now be. He does, it's so nebulous. I just don't see the significance of it at all in terms of this case.
And we had deposition.
Please.
Well, Your Honor, there are two different distinctions with the U.S. Patent Office. There's either you're registered as an agent or you're registered as an
And
attorney.
it's clear that he's registered as an agent.
Right, but from this document itself, it shows that he is holding, well,
No, he's saying he
Claims
may
to be
now
an-
be classified, although he may now be classified as a patent attorney. It's meaningless, that statement, to me. It just is. So, anyway. He's listed as an agent. He's agreed that he's listed as an agent. I don't know why you need any more evidence to come in and say he's listed as an agent. He's listed as an agent.
well, I don't think he testified that he's listed as an agent. I think
I'm
he
not
did
sure, Your
recognize
Honor, what they have me
74.
listed of as, at this point. I don't know whether you become one automatically or there's some process you need to report that to. But simply printing off, I believe her exhibit is printing off something off the internet she found when she did something like a Google search or something, and I just don't think that really rises to the level of.
Well, it depends. I mean, she can have someone come in and testify, and then I have to look at it under Evidence Code Section 5052. But the point is I'm saying I don't know what the point of it is. I just don't see the point. He's was listed as an agent. He says he's listed as an agent. He sends you an update and says, now that I've become an attorney in Nevada, I may be a patent attorney. Who knows? Who cares? I mean, I just don't see how it's...
Everything gets treated this way. Everything's been twisted like this.
I think it's
Okay.
relevant, Your Honor, to the fact that he hasn't admitted that he's listed as an agent as of right now.
I thought he was listed as an agent. He said he was an agent.
He said he was licensed as a patent agent.
Yeah, he's licensed as a patent agent.
In May of
He
2003.
says, I'm listed as an active agent on the USPTO Gov website. And he gives you his number. He's an agent. I just don't,
We have the certificate as well, Your Honor.
I just
the
don't
diploma.
see why this is being belabored. He's a license or an agent. He says he's number 53,905. Okay.
As he just said right now, he doesn't even know what he is listed as.
Document number 3 is admitted into evidence. He has said that he's an agent. He has... The court understands him to be an agent. If you want put in additional evidence that he's listed on a website, that he's already admitted that he's an agent, that's fine. I'll leave it to you.
Your Honor, just to be really technical, I'm not sure I'm an agent.
Whatever.
Might be
Okay,
an
so
attorney.
let's put...
Because
put
she
on
could
your
come back
evidence.
with, I'm lying about that later, so. He's just an agent, he said.
Okay, so who's your next witness?
Bill Stevens.
Okay.
Were there any other concerns?
No,
for the
that
court?
was it. Good afternoon.
Would you remain standing and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly state under penalty of perjury that the evidence that you shall give in this matter shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please be seated and state and spell your first and last name for the record.
First name is Bill, B-I-L-L. Last name Stevens, S-T-E-P-H-E-N-S.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stevens. Are you currently employed?
Yes.
Where are you employed?
At the State Bar of California.
Excuse me, Your Honor, can I just make an objection?
Yes,
real quick?
make an objection, a legal objection.
Yes, Your
No
Honor.
speaking objection, legal.
Okay, I object to the submission of the photographs when Ms. Kagan knew she couldn't authenticate them as highly prejudicial.
We already struck them
Well, I
from the
move for
record.
sanctions against her for presenting them.
Denied. Next question.
Mr. Stevens, I'm sorry, you're currently employed at the State Bar?
Yes.
And what is your title?
I'm an investigator.
In what division?
Enforcement in the Office of the Chief Trial Counsel,
And how long have you been an investigator in the Office of the Chief Trial Counsel?
23 years.
Did you happen to work on the matter of this moral character case, Zachary B. Coughlin?
Yes.
And as part of your work on this matter, did you contact the Department of Motor Vehicles for Nevada?
Yes.
And do you recall why you contacted the DMV?
What's your objection?
Relevance, I don't see how this is any more relevant than the patent agent stuff.
Overruled.
Do you recall why you contacted the DMV of Nevada?
To obtain the applicant's driving record.
And how did you make contact with the DMV?
I wrote a letter.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Please let the record reflect I'm handing a copy of what's been marked as Exhibit 76 to applicant.